Hi guys, welcome back to the Lanark UC podcast hosted by the Young Reporters Group. It's Beth here, and today we are very lucky to be joined by MSP Màiri McAllan. Màiri is a Scottish politician serving as Cabinet Secretary for Net Zero and Energy since 2024. Thanks for joining us today, Màiri. How are you?
I'm good, thank you for having me on your podcast.
So my first question is, what is the best thing that you have achieved whilst being a politician?
Oh, that's such a good question. There's so many different parts to doing my job. So I always think there's the job that I have here, which is the most important one, representing people in Clydesdale, and that's Lanark, Carluke, Biggar, all the surrounding areas. Then I have a job in Parliament, and then I have a job in government. So I think there's maybe two to answer your question. The best things are, most of all, things like this. Getting to work with yourself and young people in Clydesdale, who, you know, I was in your position not that long ago because I grew up in Biggar and things like that, so that's really nice. It's lovely when you get to help someone, because a lot of people come to my office with problems and, you know, they've got something that they can't manage themselves, and if you get to sort that for them, that's really great. And then one of the other things that I'm very proud of is one of the pieces of legislation that I took forward, which was to ban fox hunting in Scotland. So, yeah.
Is being a politician stressful?
Yes, I think I probably, yeah, I would, to be absolutely honest, it does have its stressful moments. And I think honestly that's because, you know, like when I was saying before, people come and ask for your help. Quite often they are stressed themselves, or they're upset, or they've been let down, or they've tried to solve the problem and they just can't get anywhere. So quite often when people come to you, they're already in distress. But if you can help and diffuse that a little bit and sort it out for them, yeah. I think the other thing is there's just a lot to do and you never feel like you have enough time.
There's two more funny questions that I want to ask. So do you think Jaffa cakes are a biscuit or a cake?
I think they're a biscuit. Really? Yes. I mean, I love tea, right? I drink tea all day long and I love a wee biscuit with my tea. And Jaffa cakes are up there, maybe top 5 for me in terms of a bicky. So what do you think?
Cake. Yeah. And my last question is, who's your dream band/singer to see live?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, I actually got to see mine. I don't know if you would remember Amy Winehouse. Yeah. So obviously she passed away, which was really sad, but prior to that I got to see her at Tea in the Park.
Was it good?
It was amazing, yeah. So she was my dream, and I don't know, Paul McCartney's just started a European tour, which is the other end of the spectrum, so I'd quite like to see him because I love the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you become interested in politics?
That's a really good question, Morven. So I was quite young, I think, when I first had sort of political thoughts. I remember even being as young as being in the playground when I was in primary school, and sort of noticing that I thought there was things that weren't very fair, or I didn't really like the way that people were treated, or maybe I felt like they'd been let down. So I think from a very early age I was looking at the world around me and thinking, it's not very fair, I wonder if there's something that could be done about that. And I think those are, even though that doesn't maybe seem like politics, those are political thoughts. So, and then I joined my party when I was 16 and was a local campaigner before I got elected.
Funny question, but
I like the funny questions.
are you following what's going on in the Euros?
Yes, who isn't? I was so disappointed with the first game. I think we probably just got a wee bit overexcited, didn't we? But then last week was good, and I'm looking forward to Sunday. And I believe that we can go all the way.
What would you like better, heroes or celebrations?
Heroes. I love dairy milk.
And what's your favourite things in politics?
Well, I suppose like Beth was saying, you know, what are the things you like to do most of all? It really is such a privilege to have the opportunity to meet so many people in this area, this place where we all live, and then I suppose with my job I also get to meet a lot of people across Scotland who are working hard to make their communities a better place. So there's so many wonderful people that you get to meet, and that's the best bit.
What age do you think we should be allowed to vote?
16, I think. So it was always 18 in Scotland, which we thought was too old. because by the time you're 16 you can leave school, you can get a job, you can pay tax, and I feel that at that point you should be able to vote for the people who make decisions about your life, for goodness sake. So we brought the voting age down to 16 in Scotland. Unfortunately for this election that's coming up, because it's right across the UK, they still have 18. But you can all look forward to voting, probably not in the next Scottish election. You probably won't be 16 by then because it's only about 2 years away.
Yeah.
But the one after that. Yeah. What do you think? Would you quite like to vote younger?
Yeah, because like when you're 16 you can do so much, so it's definitely fair.
Exactly. If you're paying tax, you should be able to elect the government on... Yeah, exactly.
So what's your advice for young girls like us to get into politics?
So I think the first piece of advice is just know and believe that you have a voice and that you have opinions and that you deserve to be heard. And when people try to make you feel like that's not the case, just don't let them. And the other bits of advice are do your studying, you know, get yourself knowledgeable, because with knowledge comes the ability to go and advocate for people and look out for them. And then the last thing is look out for each other, because you're going to come across challenges, and if you've got your girlfriends, you can look out for each other.
What would your job be if you weren't an MSP?
That's a good one. So I was a lawyer before I was elected, and again I wanted to be a lawyer from quite a young age. I remember when I was in primary 5, I think my teacher then did a project with us where she would make us come in the morning and we'd listen to the 9 o'clock news, and she would say, write me a report on the story that really caught your imagination. So I always kind of liked that stuff, and then I wanted to become a lawyer to try and use whatever skills I had to support people who couldn't stand up for themselves. And then that was quite similar to politics.
What's your favourite hobby outside of work?
Oh, that's a good one. I love walking my dogs. My husband is a farmer, so we have collie dogs that I absolutely love, and we've got one very lazy lab who thinks he's a sheepdog but he's not. So after work I like to let them all out and just go walking in the nice countryside around Clydesdale with them.
Do you have any troubles being a woman in politics?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. I think so. Unfortunately, there is a part of politics, or a part of just being in public life, where people can be quite nasty, and especially online, and we all know what it's like online. People just say things that they would never normally say to you in face to face, and I think when you're a woman you get a particular amount of that, so people will make comments on the way that I look or the way that I sound or my age, and they just don't do the same to my male colleagues. So you do, but the thing is you've got to remember that they just don't want you there, you know, and you have got to insist that you are there to be, you know, representing all the other girls and women that really need to have their voices heard as well. So you can't let it get to you.
So when you were younger, what did you want to be?
So I always wanted to be a lawyer. And I think that I wanted to do that because I felt like that was a way to help people. I always felt like I was, like all of you, able to speak up. You're confident young girls, you know, so I felt like that as well. And then I thought, well, if I have a voice, who could I use that on behalf of? Because there's lots of people who can't stick up for themselves. So that's why I wanted to be a lawyer at that point, and then that's quite similar to politics. So I moved from being that into a politician.
So are you like a Swiftie? Do you like Taylor Swift?
I've gotten caught up in the Swiftie madness that's been going on. I have been listening to quite a lot of her stuff. I do like her. I think she's really talented. She writes her own music, she's got a lovely voice, and I think she's a nice person. You know, that's the impression that I get from her. And I think she does a lot for girls because she's doing such a good job. And you think, well, could I do that? You know, maybe some of you could.
I mean, that's a real reason that I like her. What's like your favourite snack and drink?
Oh, well, I'm having a baby in 5 weeks, so I have been eating far too many snacks. I'm never off the cakes and the biscuits just now, including Jaffa cakes. So my favourite would be a cup of tea and maybe a donut. Greg's donut. Not advertising Greg's.
Yeah, they're
What's
donuts.
yours?
So like my favourite drink is definitely Diet Coke.
I do love a Diet Coke as well.
Like I love it. I just don't like the normal like full fat one. And I really like Oreos.
Yeah. Oreos and milk is quite good.
Oh yeah.
Would you
that's
say
my
that,
favourite.
do you like sweets or savoury better? Because I quite like a sausage roll as well, not necessarily from the bakers that I mentioned earlier, but
I think like
packet crisps.
oh yeah. I'm like it depends on what mood I'm in. Like if I'm in like a mood that I want a sausage roll, like if I want like a packet of crisps. But if I'm in like a mood that I want a donut
Something sweet.
or like something
Yeah.
sweet. So it really depends on your mood.
But Diet Coke every day.
yeah, Diet Coke's like every day.
So I'm really interested in what you all want to do or what you're thinking that you might want to do when you grow up. But first of all, I'd like to know more about this project because I think maybe the fact that you've been interested in it maybe indicates what you would like to do when you are older. So what made you want to do this and what's been the best part so far?
I want to be an MSP when I grow up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, because I quite like politics and quite into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't really know. The young port is just really good for getting to know people and stuff.
Yeah. I can certainly see that you're all very confident, you know, and you're very articulate, and you have to think about it quite carefully when you're doing reporting, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I joined the UC podcast because you told me about it and I wanted to come along and see what it was like. I think it was good
Yeah.
and quite enjoy it and I like doing all the time. And want to be a footballer when I grow up.
Do you? So have you been watching the Euros? Yeah, big time. And how do you feel when you watch back the work that you've done?
Or, yeah, it's,
Oh yeah,
it's
it's
a
so
bit
like
embarrassing.
embarrassment.
Or like if like once a teacher put it on in class and it was so embarrassing just hearing back your own voice. I really don't like hearing back my own voice.
What was that?
What? Oh, I don't know. This was ages ago.
What was I in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's when your classmates as well who maybe haven't been involved in the project and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
There's quite a lot of people in my
And, like-
class that's in this. Because Evie's in my class and someone else who's not like here right now is also in my class.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Evie, you said proud, so that's a good thing to feel as well.
Yeah, because like looking back at your work and what you've done over it, because we've been doing this for almost like a year,
Yeah.
and like
So long.
I know it's been
Oh my goodness, it's almost been a year.
I know, like time flies by, and it's also like quite good since in our class we got some like people that actually like the Atlantic UC podcast,
Yeah.
so it makes you like proud that like people actually like are like liking you for like what you're doing
Yes. Yeah.
and what like you'd like to be.
Or
Yeah.
people like
Find
say
it
like
crazy because like some people in our class were saying they've watched it and stuff, and I was like, I didn't
like
realise
it's
that
kind
they
of
I know,
were.
you're getting
it's kind of
famous.
embarrassing. Like, oh no, they've heard the podcast, but it's also kind of like
It's great.
yeah, it's kind of it's
Yeah.
quite like I don't know how to say it, inspiring. Like they've watched it.
There'll be lots of people watching it thinking, gosh, I wish I was doing that, and
Yeah.
don't they look cool? Don't they? And Evie, what do you want to do when you grow up?
So when I was here, I wanted like to share my voice.
Mm-hmm.
So before I wanted to be like a politician, but now like I want to be like, so my brother wants to be a footballer.
Yeah.
But our jobs like that we want to be when we're older quite like tie in. He wants to be a footballer, while I want to be like a footballer like reporter for like a team.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So like one of like
So a
the people-
presenter and or more analysing the game, or yeah.
No, like
What are they called? The people who do that? Like
a commentator,
oh, commentator.
or like
I can't the word
one of
was.
the people that like present them.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll be commentating one day on your game. That would be cool. Okay, and what about you?
Well, I don't really know because like all my pals they know what they're doing and stuff, but I don't really know what I want to do when I'm older.
You don't
But
need to know.
It's quite weird, but I want to go to university.
You
But I
do?
don't know why, but I just
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, no, I think the thought of going and learning more, and
Yeah.
it's a bit a part of your life where you become quite independent and you get to learn, but
Yeah.
whether you go to college or training or university, you'll get that in whatever you do, and you'll get to continue your studies, which is good, but you've got to work hard at school in everything that you want to do. Yeah, and I suppose that's like what we were talking about earlier, you to work hard and support each other. Yeah, and do you feel like you've made quite strong bonds of friendship through this project?
Yeah. Because I didn't know you used to that well.
Like,
Like, I knew
I
you,
just
but
felt
like,
I knew like the people
Not
from
as
my
well.
school, like Evie and Leah, and then I knew Marvin
I mean,
because
yeah.
we've known each other for a long time. But like all the girls from like Lanark Primary and stuff, like I never really knew them before, but it's like now like I'm really close friends with them and stuff.
That's really good. Yeah, and especially as you're going into this transition in your life
Yeah.
into high school and things.
Yeah, it's made lots of friends for high school.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so maybe one last question. What are you most looking forward to at high school?
Oh.
And maybe what's one thing that you're worried, if you're worried about anything, you might not be, you might be relaxed about it.
I'm quite excited for science because I've got a really nice teacher, and
Yeah.
also my siblings really like her, so I'm quite excited for that. And I'm a little bit worried in case I get lost because it's quite big. I
Yeah.
kind of understand how the classrooms work, but there's some dead ends, so I'm a bit scared in case I get lost and like late to class or something.
I remember feeling that way when I went from bigger primary to high school, and I remember we got this map and I just couldn't read it.
We
It made me
didn't get
feel
a map.
more confused, honestly. But you get used to it so quickly, and there's always people there to help.
I'm looking forward to PE. But
Yeah, you're sporty.
obviously,
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going to a different school, but like it's smaller. But I still think I'm going to get lost.
Oh, well, I'm sure there'll be people there to help you.
So my confidence is like really high.
Good.
I've got, like really
Yeah.
good confidence.
That's
Well,
great.
you're so modest too.
I wouldn't not be. Like I'm very confident in myself and like other people. But the thing that I'm most excited about is geography, only
Yeah.
because we get like barely any homework. He like doesn't.
Oh yeah, the teacher's really nice,
yeah.
but I did not like geography. I'm really bad at map reading because see last year when me and my mum were doing the land of our houses, oh we got lost a couple of times.
You sound like me, I'm not great with maths, I've got to say. But that's good. So for it's new classes then, that's the thing that's
Yeah.
most exciting for you, yeah.
Like to move around,
Yeah.
it's quite fun. Because if you get a bad teacher,
Yeah.
then you can like you only have them for like
15 minutes.
yeah.
15 minutes. So
for a week or something.
I love it.
I'm really excited for home ec because I really like baking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a really fun class and stuff. And I'm excited to like make new friends, and I feel like it's just more fun going to different classes throughout your day instead of just sitting in the one class.
Well, that's right. You get to a stage at primary school where you're ready to move on, don't you?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're all at that, and it'll be great. And you can keep in touch with one
The
another.
classes are so long because you've got like
I know,
3
yeah.
like periods between break and lunch or
Yeah,
something.
that's
And that's what's 50 times 150 minutes of classes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
because
is a
on
big
our
jump.
2-day visit. Yeah, because
Yeah.
before break we've got like 2 classes, but on our 2-day visit we only got like 1 class.
Yeah, because we started later and finished
Yeah,
earlier.
and the classes we also got to leave earlier and start later.
Yeah.
So
And you'll have a couple of years to get yourselves bedded in before your exams start and things like
Yeah.
that. So
yeah.
yeah, and then you can use that time to work out what classes you want to take
Yeah.
towards the end of school. Good. Great. Well, thank you so much for telling me all of that.
That is all we have time for today. Thanks to Màiri and her team for taking this time out to support our group and the local community. You have been watching the Young Reporters group here on the Lanark Universal Connections YouTube channel. You can support the group by subscribing to our YouTube, Spotify and TikTok. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.